Well, as you can see, I've got 12,246 miles on the JL now, and it's been almost a full year of ownership. So it's time to do a review video. Hey Dixie Belle, come on out. We got some things to do. All right guys, so it's a really beautiful day out here today. Finally, because the rain has just been terrible. But I've had this Wrangler for almost a year now, so I thought it'd be a good time to do a review and kind of let you know how life has been with the JL for the last year or so. Funny thing I was thinking about on the way here, somebody told me that these key fobs for the Wrangler JL were waterproof. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if they designed it to be waterproof, but what I can tell you is I dropped this one in the Salt River. And obviously I found it and it works just fine. So maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know, but let's talk about this vehicle a little bit here. So if you're going to be shopping for one of these things, I've seen a whole lot of people who've never had a Jeep Wrangler before ask the question, are they reliable? You know, for some reason, there's a lot of stigma that surrounds FCA as a company, and it kind of rubs off on Jeep, and people are kind of worried about the reliability of these things. Honestly, I'm not sure why that is, because I've had Toyotas, I've had Nissans, Jeeps, Fords, GMs, you name it, we've had it. And you know, my wife and I combined have had all kinds of different things over the last 15, 16 years, and we've had pretty good luck with all of them. But my FCA vehicles, formerly Daimler Chrysler back when we got married, now it's FCA obviously, they've always been really, really good to us. We haven't had any major trouble at all out of these things. So not really sure where that comes from, but you know, like I said, I've got this thing here at just over 12,000 miles on the odometer now, and it's been doing really well for me. So I thought I would just take a few minutes here to go into a little bit of more detail about my life with the Wrangler over the last year or so to kind of let you know how it's been. So let's start off with the drivetrain. Now this one obviously is a sport model. So I've got the Dana 30 up front, Dana 35 Advantech axle in the rear. The Advantech is just a fancy name for the next generation of that axle. They've got, you know, thicker tubes, and it's basically a more robust version of the axle. The 44 that you get if you order the limited slip differential, you upgrade that to the Dana 44, it's also an Advantech axle. Okay, so the rear axles and the JLs are all the new generation. Now obviously if you get the Rubicon, you got 44s in the front and the rear. Everybody knows that. You get the nice lockers and all that kind of stuff. So as far as the axles go though, no trouble, no funny noises, no problems, no leaks or anything like that to talk about. The transmission, I got the automatic transmission. This is basically a ZF based transmission. It's a world-class transmission. It's used in all kinds of vehicles, everything from pickup trucks to exotic cars. I mean, there's just all kinds of vehicles that use it. The Wrangler is one of them now. So it's a world-class automatic transmission, very well known and very reliable. Transfer cases in these Jeeps are always pretty good and tough, and haven't had any trouble out of that either. The engine, now this one's got the 3.6 liter Pentastar engine in it, and I am a big fan. I love this engine. I had a guy that stopped me last week. He said, hey, that's a nice Jeep. What engine did you get? Did you get the turbo? I said, no, I did not get the turbo. And the reason why is because my experience with the small turbo engines is that they get really expensive over time, especially when you get out of warranty period. You know, those turbo engines with direct injection and, you know, and all the fancy stuff they've got on them, they tend to run dirtier. They soot up the tailpipe. I mean, you look at the tailpipe on those things, you can tell they run dirty. The valves will end up getting carbon on them, you know, and all kinds of things. Not to mention it's $1,000 upcharge just for the automatic, or excuse me, for the turbo engine, and it forces you into the automatic transmission. So basically, if you didn't want the automatic, you wouldn't even have a choice. But I like the V6. It's simple, it's well known, it's reliable, makes good power, great fuel economy. This thing was still getting low 19s, you know, running around. If I'm really easy with it, it'll get low 19s on the highway with a lift kit and the 35-inch tires. When it was stock, it would go well into the 20s easily. But even with the lift in the 35s, I'm still getting pretty good highway mileage. My average mileage, which I'm going to show you here in just a minute, is running just lower than just below 18 miles per gallon according to my latest Fuelie data. So as far as the drive line goes, can't really complain. This thing has been rock solid. The interior on my JL is kind of dirty right now, but I just wanted to show you, the seats a year later. Of course, I have the cloth seats, and well, there's a lot of sun glare there, but the point I was trying to show you is that there's not any wear over here on the seat bolster. The fabric's holding up pretty good. I don't see any stains or anything. These are easy to clean, and they seem to be holding up really well as far as the fabric goes. Some guys had some issues with the touchscreen. Of course, you can see all my fingerprints on there, but every once in a while I clean that. I haven't had any trouble with the finish on the touchscreen. It's been fine for me. The leather steering wheel still holding up great. The materials inside the Jeep Wrangler JL seem to be pretty top notch as far as this class of vehicles goes. I mean, it's got some nice soft touch materials. There's some a little bit of hard plastic in here. Some people don't like the red that you get on the Rubicon. Obviously, this one's a sport with a gray, but I think they both look pretty cool, honestly. The windshield, hey, there's something I want to talk about. So many people talk about these windshields, about how they break so easily. I've never had a Wrangler windshield to break, and as you can see, this one is, well, if it'll pick it up, maybe you'll have to go inside. Let's try this. There we go. It's still the factory Mopar acoustic windshield. Now, I don't know exactly why this one got the acoustic windshield. Some people were saying that you were supposed to get the acoustic windshield if you got the upgraded audio package. I don't know. And then other folks said it was just standard. They're putting the acoustic windshields in all of them. I don't know. But the point is, this is a factory windshield, not a single crack, chip, or anything. This is my 4th Jeep Wrangler. I've had a YJ, 2 JKs, and now this JL. I've put tens of thousands of miles on them, on the interstate, county roads, all types of weather. I've never had a chip, never had a crack. I mean, these windshields do just fine for me. I really don't know. We have a rock quarry that's like 1.5 miles down the road. So we've got dump trucks out on the road all the time with gravel and everything else, sand. I mean, I never had any trouble with the windshields. I don't know. The guys that break these things all the time, I'm not sure what's up with that, but I've never had any trouble with it. I need to wash this thing, obviously, but there's not any rock chips on the paint. Paint's holding up really well. So the interior and the exterior seem to be pretty rugged. They seem to be holding up really, really well. No complaints there at all. Obviously, I upgraded the headlights because the headlights were terrible. Had to put LED bulbs in there to get some light output, but I don't know. I mean, everything's going pretty well as far as the way that it's holding up, So the drivetrain's great, interior's holding up well, exterior's holding up well. We've had a lot of fun with the Jeep. Of course, I've been doing a review on the Trek Top, which for the first time I had some flapping going on back here in the rear, which I'll talk about more in another video later on, but that was kind of interesting. But overall, the Trek Top's still doing pretty well. I got this utility trailer here that I use. I'm going to be using it again tonight to help my brother move. But I tow all kinds of stuff on this 6x12 utility trailer, and the Jeep does great. The Pentastar has plenty of power to pretty much tow anything that I can fit on that trailer. And so I use this thing to do work and get some jobs done also. So yeah, it's just a really, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just a practical vehicle now, with the ability to haul the family. You can still throw the top back and have fun. You can go off-road, you can camp, you can pull a utility trailer, do whatever you need to do. It's just a great all-around vehicle, and it's been holding up really, really well. So let's talk for just a second about the issues that I've had with this Wrangler over the last, almost year. This Wrangler was built in February, I think the first day of February of 2018, and it was actually delivered to a dealership in Indiana. And then my dealership here in Central Kentucky, for whatever reason, I guess they did a dealer inventory trade or something. They ended up getting this Wrangler in March of last year, and then I bought it in the middle of April. So I've had this thing for almost a year, 11 months basically, and again, over 12,000 miles. And in that amount of time, the first thing I noticed when I got this Wrangler was the steering issue, where it's just kind of all over the place like a tugboat, you know. And I test drove 3 separate Wranglers off the lot that day, and they all had the exact same issue. So I figured that it was something that was just you know, common to the first run of the Wranglers, and they would be able to get it figured out. And sure enough, a few months later, I went back to the dealership and they did a software flash. I have a video on that also, but they did a software flash and it fixed that instantly. I left the dealership and the thing has been driving great ever since then. No more two-handed driving, you know, you can drive the thing with one finger now. So it handles fine, no problems there, simple software update. Other than that, I haven't really had any repairs made to the Wrangler whatsoever. I've had it to the dealership twice for oil changes, and of course you get 4 of those for free when you buy the Wrangler. And other than that, it's been pretty much trouble-free, except for the ESS failure that I had in October. The electronic start-stop system decided to quit working for some reason. Everything else on the Jeep was fine, but the ESS system quit working, so it would no longer go into automatic start and stop mode, you know, the red light or whatever. They had the Jeep for a couple of weeks, took them a while to figure it out, and I think that was just because these things are new. You know, as far as the ESS system being on the Wrangler, it's new, and they didn't really know where to begin, so they tried a couple of different things. It didn't work, and then they had to get with FCA corporate and get some more guidance, you know, on how to approach the problem. So I think that's why it took so long. It wasn't necessarily a difficult thing to fix, it's just they didn't know where to start, you know. But that was another electronic issue that they fixed for me. Other than that, the thing's been really awesome. Haven't had any mechanical repairs done to it whatsoever. Haven't had any water leaks inside the vehicle. Just no problems at all. The thing has been really, really great. So again, I don't want you to be worried about reliability on the Jeep, because in my opinion, after owning several of these things, they're pretty good. No complaints. And well, I guess she's not going to help me. She's going to the house. So the bottom line is, would I buy this Wrangler again? If I was doing it, if I go back, you know, another year and start over from scratch, would I buy this Wrangler again? And the answer is yes, I would. You know, I just really love the vehicle. It's one of those things where you can drive it to work every day. It gets good fuel efficiency for what it is. You know, it doesn't care what the weather does. It can snow or rain or whatever, and it doesn't matter. It's going to get you where you need to go. It's fun, you know, and you can do the things that you need to do with it also. You can haul things in the back, you can pull the trailer, whatever. It's just a good all-around vehicle, and it's been very reliable, and I would definitely buy it again. So, you know, I guess that's pretty much covered everything. I don't want to make this video super long, but I just wanted to let you know that a year later, the Wrangler JL is still doing really great. And, you know, I'd like to remind you, this is one of the very first ones that was built on the first day of February. They had just been making these for a couple of months at that point. So this is a very early build JL, one of the first ones that came off the line during the winter of 17-18. So, you know, if this one is that reliable, I would assume that the 2019 and upcoming 2020 models will be even better. So there you go, guys. If you have any questions about life with the Wrangler after a year, drop a line below and let me know, and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching and have a great day.